All right, hello everyone. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and today I am going to be continuing my project, which I have been working on for a couple weeks now. And hopefully, today, what we will be able to get accomplished is I have this webpage that I need the user to be able to log on to. So, we need to be able to get kind of the back end working for this process. I want the user to be able to give their username and password, my backend to be able to accept that, then log this into a database, and then the user will be able to do authentication, right? So they need to be able to add data to that database for create an account, and then they need to be able to access that information when they want to log in. So that's what we're going to hopefully be doing today. And I was initially thinking about using something like Redis to be able to do the username password, but Redis is more in memory, so it is not really a persistent database storage methodology. So what I think I'll be doing instead is like Postgres, something like this, which actually goes pretty nicely because the other database that we're using for the consumer and the producer microservice, they are utilizing MongoDB, which is NoSQL. So this allows me to have a mixture of both SQL and NoSQL. So I am going to make myself smaller, and we are going to start coming here and just talking just talking to it and seeing like what are the steps to get this Postgres. So I now want to be able to get PostgreSQL onto my project. My idea is that I will use Postgres as a way to store user name and passwords. I have my microservices in Docker containers. Will this be a problem? Because remember, we had to do a lot of special networking when we were trying to connect everything within the Docker containers. So I'm guessing that we're probably going to need to like install Postgres. Then we are going to need to somehow connect it up to from my service, my like front end service, connect it up to my database. And then from there, I should be able to query things. That's what I'm thinking. All right, let's see. So, it's very common. Okay, that's good. So, why Postgres and Docker microservices work well together? Isolation. Each microservice can communicate with Postgres over network bridge, okay, which is the platform which we have. So that's good. Scalability. You can scale services independently with Postgres remaining or while Postgres remains a stable data layer, okay? Portability. Docker makes it easy to replicate your environment across dev, staging, and production. Okay. How to integrate Postgres into your Docker setup. So you'll typically do a Docker compose to orchestrate my services. So let's close out these Oops. And let's go to my Docker Compose, because that's what it's talking about. My Docker Compose right here. Okay. So now I want... see. I have all of my services, okay? So I have services, and I'm going to have something called Postgres here, okay? And then authentication service there. That might be this, where is it? Front end, because the front end is actually the API gateway. So this actually should be, I might have to say like depends on Postgres. And then volumes, I don't know about that. So first thing, copy this Postgres into here. Like this, okay. And now this front end depends on Postgres, okay. Restart always. Inventory database. And it's on this port, and okay. So I don't have a volume. Okay. I didn't do any of this, like environment variables. Okay. My microservice, like authentication service, can connect to Postgres. Maybe I need to do this here. Networks, let's see. Environments. Okay. Let's see if it likes this. Does this look correct? My front end microservice will be the one to communicate with the Postgres. Front end is written in NodeJS Express. Okay. Also, I don't know if I have installed Postgres yet. Okay. So it says that it looks good. Let's see. Install Postgres locally. Initialize my database. Okay. Let's just see if this is actually running. New terminal, and I'll try to access like PSQL. Let's see if I have it. No. Okay, failed. It does not exist. Okay, so Tell me the steps to get the Postgres on my local device. Okay. Oh, I should have said I'm on a Mac. Okay. And I don't want to download, I just want to use like Homebrew or something. I don't necessarily want to do that. Actually, I am on a Mac and I want to do it from the command line. Okay. Do its bouncing. And then after it's done with that, we should be able to get it installed and then try to connect my front end to things. All right. Okay. So install Homebrew. I already have Homebrew. Then add. Okay. So there we go. That's all the command I needed. Okay. So brew install PostgreSQL. Okay. I might actually had. Okay. So is it good? Brew services start PostgreSQL. All right, let's see if it works. Okay, so we started it. Okay. Verification. I should be able to do this. Okay. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. All right, there we go. Very good. And we should be able to connect here. Okay. So let's see. SQL. Not sure what this does, but now I'm in the terminal for it, so I should be able to now create my table. Okay. So let's come back up to here and can I copy this, paste it into there? Okay. So now I just created a table called users with the primary key as ID. Okay. Username is a string and it needs to be unique and it can't be null. Okay. The password is text and it can't be null. And then the timestamp that it was created. Okay, fine. So now you can query like this. Docker. Okay, let's go into my front end. Probably like a server, right? New file, call this PostgreSQL.js, okay? Paste that into there. Then from app.js, I need to do that require here, okay? Okay. Maybe I don't need to actually even do it from here. I need to do it in my routes. Routes, index.js. This is a huge file, but I need to... Actually, it's not that big, but it's not organized. Okay, so let me just do const pool. Why it's called that, I don't know. Is require. Okay. And now the path to that database thing. So it is relative to here, it is up one level in services, okay, and called PostgreSQL. Now, I don't add that JavaScript. Okay. So, I got this. Now, I want to, very similar to this, actually. Okay. It's kind of cool because we also get to see how to insert things into a database, how to query, how to do stuff like that. Into specifically SQL, because we've already done the MongoDB one, which will be nice. The way that I like doing my projects is I first try to get something working, try to get it to actually operate correctly, and then once I do that, I want to do the investigation to understand, okay, well, how is it working? Why is it working? First comes get it actually going, get the product. Second comes get the understanding, get the conceptions, right? Don't just move on to the next thing. Even though sometimes it's super tempting just to move on to the next thing once you get it working. But anyways, so right now we're on the just try to get something working, and then later, once it works, then it's time for our investigation. Okay. And the idea is, obviously, as we do more and more and more of these projects, it's like, okay, well, we're going to be able to get more familiar and comfortable with a lot of these operations. So, like right now, this is the first time I've ever worked with a SQL database. First time I worked with Postgres. And I'm guessing next time it will be significantly easier, right? Okay, so let me do app.post. Okay. Router.post, and we want this to be on register. Okay. And this is going to be an asynchronous function. Okay. Request response. Okay. So now what we want to do is we get the request body, so const and username password, okay, is going to be equal to request body, and then okay. So now what we do is we have something hash, okay, const hash, is equal to await. So this is an asynchronous function call. And we need to do BCRY PT dot hash password. I might actually just change this. Like, I'm not trying to make it super secure right now. I'm just trying to get it to work. And if this is causing us problems, maybe I just exit for right now and then add it back in later. So await pool dot query, and then I do some database entry, which is going to be insert into users, and that should correspond to the table that we just created. So insert users, right? That makes sense. And now I want to do username, username, okay, password hash, and that should correspond to these. Password hash, okay. And now values $1, $2, okay. And now put in the username and hash. Okay, so we'll figure out what all of that SQL language means with the $, and try to dissect some of that later. Let's just assume that it's right for now. So response dot send user registered. Okay. So now I want to find out where I am. I want to go into my front end. I want to do NodeMon. I don't think this really is gonna work, is it? Because I need to change a lot of my environment variables. Process environment. Okay, so that actually should be that YAML file. Oh, which I already did. So Postgres here. So we have host DB. Okay, hold on, actually. I see what's up. I see what's going on. So we have this DB host, DB port, DB user. DB host, port, user, DB password, and DB name. Okay, so we pass that in as an environment variable. We capture it here. We export it to, not here, but here. We export it, we get it here. Okay, and then we can do like a query. Okay. So I'm gonna run this NodeMon. Oh, okay, well, that's awesome. What's wrong with this? This is the get. Here. see what it has to say. Okay. So in your project directory front end, run npm install pg. If you're using environment variables, I thought I already did that. Let me say restart my app and do the app.js. Okay. So I'm going to clear that. I'm going to say if I run the command here and my program is part of a Docker container, what is actually installed? How does this work? Okay. And then I need to figure out what was it meaning about those other things. It said like bonus or something. Okay, so this one. What is this? Make sure PG appears under dependencies. If not, something went wrong during. So this is package.json. Okay. So package.json is going to be in my front end, and let me just close this so I can figure out where it is. Here we go. Oh, don't actually put it in there, but it should be, once I do the install, it should just be here. Oh, and by the way, there's my .env. So that's not what I want. I just said don't copy and paste it. I was about to, and then I realized what I was doing, and I was like, wait, hold on, that's not how. See, like in the past, I was just playing around with it, but now I understand the concepts of like, okay, how this package.json file works, and how if I do this, it should create something in here, because that was part of the investigation part of things. So does it need a sudo? 14. Well, there it is. So it actually happened a lot faster than I thought. Okay. So now we got that. We have the .env, so I don't need to do that. Let me come down. Okay, yeah, it's there. Let me come down here and let's just read this together and try to understand the conception of it. So I said that we're trying to build it, but we're also trying to learn alongside, and then later we do the investigation. But I don't want to just blindly be doing things, you know. So if I run npm install on my host machine, it installs Postgres client library into the node modules, okay? On my local project directory. This is useful for local development, but does not affect my Docker container unless I rebuild it. Okay. How it works inside a Docker container. When your app runs inside a Docker container. Okay, so, and I was just, so about a week ago, I had essentially never used Docker. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know anything about that. So I have about 1 week of experience with Docker. And so trying to get all of the networking operational, trying to understand all of how it's packaged and how the dependencies work and how you do the build, the Docker build, the Docker images, then once you have your containers, how you use the Docker compose to be able to do things. And it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, so it's brand new to me. So, but as I just said, the more you play with it, the more you start to understand it. So I need to rebuild my Docker. Would it be Docker image or just rebuild from the image? Anyways, when you when your app runs inside a Docker container, it uses its own file system and environment, completely separate from your host machine. So if you want PG to be available inside the container, you need to add it to my package.json, make sure the PG installed under dependencies, rebuild my image. Okay, so now rebuild the Docker image. My Docker file should look something like this. Oh, that's the other thing. Hold on. My Docker Compose is using, I just realized my Docker Compose is using these environment variables, right? But I'm not doing Docker Compose. I was doing NodeMon to start up my front end. I think that's going to be a problem. Rebuild the Docker image. So let's just come here, look at the Docker file, and I have this expose here. Okay. App. Install this. Okay. So now I should be able to come in here, make sure I'm in the right directory. Okay, so I should be able to do Docker images. Is that right? And I want, oh my goodness, I have a lot. Docker build -t. Is that right? I don't know. I actually don't even think I needed to do that because I think that this... Okay, I don't think I needed to do that because I think when I do Docker Compose up, it will come in here and this one needs to be built because it goes off of the like compiled code in Java. This one needs to be built or like compiled. This one needs to be compiled, but this one, because it's NodeJS and not Java, this one runs that command of whatever, all of those. So let me just try Docker Compose up. And, oh, I need to change directories and then do this. We'll install all dependencies, including PG, inside here. Okay, so what you should do, if you have PG installed locally on your app, make sure PG. Okay. So it doesn't like that. That's... Alright, so I don't know what volumes does, but fine. We'll just do that. What does that do? What does that change? I don't know. And does it break all of the other functionality? I don't know. Okay. Okay. So it didn't work, I believe. Just try Docker up. Yeah, so it's not working. Okay. All right. So I might have multiple. Did I leave anything? Oh, actually, maybe that's it. Let's see. Ah, okay. I saw Spring Boot load, so that's better. Okay. So it didn't immediately fail. Let me come here and let me reload this. Error to log. That's fine. That's expected as well. Let me load this and that. Okay, good, good. Hello from Spring Boot. So it seems like we're getting our things. Let me go to Eureka. No, not Swagger. But actually, I'm kind of curious if Swagger is up too. Okay, Swagger is. Where's my Eureka? Here it is. Let me run it and we'll see if all three are registered. If they are, we're in good shape. Come on, come on. Okay, so I think we are. Well, now what do I want to do? Now what I need to do is I need to actually send a command. Okay. I need to be able to send a command to that front end register. So I'll need to be able to do a post. Okay. So let's go back here, and this is for my leak code. Okay. I got it up and running, but now I need to send a post request to that register endpoint. Okay, how can I use Swagger to be able to construct a post request? Okay. Okay. So open Swagger, we have this, that's fine, or whatever. Find the register, try it out. No, I need to be able to register it, right? Don't I need to do the... Don't I need to make changes on my server side project? Because here's where it is now, right? Like that. I don't think that's accurate. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. That horrendous comment. You'll see what I mean in a second. This horrendous comment. Okay. The other thing is I'm not even sure if Swagger is enabled on here. Okay, so the other thing that I'm thinking is, will it cause a... Because I'm running Swagger here on my consumer, I think it is. No, it should be a different port number. So it should be localhost 3000 for my front end, Swagger UI, all that. Okay, so I don't think it will cause a conflict there. But I definitely need to come here and figure out where I'm going to be putting these. Probably in my app.js. Okay. And I will probably need to copy these two. Okay. For Swagger. And then I will need to... What is specs? It's options. Okay. So I need this as well? Okay, well, fine. Copy all of that. Attempting to get Swagger to work on... Okay. Paste that in. Okay. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to exit out of this. Okay. And then I need to run it again. Okay. Okay, so I need to do docker compose up, and I don't think I need to do build. Okay. And then what I should be able to do is come to Swagger here, copy this. This is my producer or consumer one, but paste this in here. Okay, and then do this UI like this. And then instead of that one, I want 3000. Hopefully this works. Cannot get Swagger. Awesome, awesome. Wonderful. Okay, well, paste that into there. Paste this into there. Okay, and then paste all of this into here, and then paste all of this into there. Okay. Let's see if it sees any mistakes. You're almost there. Swagger is wired up, but the reason you're getting cannot access is because you mounted API docs. Okay. What was it? I mounted Swagger where? Well, it should be here, and it says that I mounted it at API docs, wherever. Where did I do that? app.use API docs. Okay, let's copy this here and paste it right like that. Okay, let's see. Well, we're still not getting it, so I don't know. Well, are we even able to reach the front end? Let me see. If it says not logged in, then we are able to reach the front end. So, yeah, I don't know why this one is not working right now. Let's see. Copy that in, paste it. Copy that in and paste it. Okay. So, what's going on? Check API path. It's correct, but make sure this block appears before any route handlers. What? Does that mean I need to do something like this? And then exit out of this. Okay. And then what if I just did the build? Actually, I want to isolate my variables. I'm just going to run that. So run here. Okay. Still cannot get it. Close out of this. Okay. So let's just try this and see if this makes any difference. Okay. Cannot connect to the server, so it's not even. So this will, yeah, great, good. Great, awesome. Okay, well, that sucked. So I will, oh, let's see, it's doing its thing. Hold on, let me just refresh this. Okay. I'm not really sure right now. Yeah. I guess I'll need to troubleshoot it more in the future. Future videos. I don't know. I'm gonna take a break. What if I just did like the NodeMon? Like, can I even load anything? App crash is awesome. Awesome. Well, I broke the entire thing. Okay. So I need to do this here. I need to paste that npm install this one. Okay. And now, did that affect my package.json here? Okay. Maybe that was the problem? I'm not sure. Let me just go back. Okay, let me just do the same thing, like here. Okay. So now it's not crashed. Let's just see. Oh, oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, there we go. And this should say failed to log in. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so, but to access this, I actually do need to do the Docker compose up. So, I'm gonna go whatever it is, Docker compose up. Okay, so let's try to do that. I don't know if I need to do that build thing. We'll see. We might need to build it again. So we're gonna do this. Da, 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 da. Okay. Hopefully I press this and I still get. Okay, and then this will fail too. Then, of course it does. Okay, so we're gonna close out of this, and then we're gonna do this with build. Okay, and hopefully it'll do its thing. Build all of that. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, well, never mind. I'm not taking a break then. Okay, so let's try it out. Username is going to be mytest1, and password is going to be haha, did you get it? Okay. So now I'm going to do execute, and let's see what we get. Execute. Okay. So we're probably always going to get a 200 because if you look at our index.js here, we always just send back this right here. So I think we're always, oh no, never mind. Never mind. Okay. So I thought that we would always get it 200. Why did we, which is an indication that I have a gap in my understanding and conceptualization of this. Okay. Here. You forgot to import this on the top of my file. I can't, I don't even care about this. I don't care. I didn't even want it. I didn't want it. Okay, fine. There. And now we need to go and rebuild everything, don't we? Let's just make sure. Okay. Well, error handling. I'm actually a little bit confused. As to my knowledge, this function will always return back a success. So why did it return a 500? Also, what do you mean? What did it say? Like, leak stack traces to the client. Okay. So why did your function return a 500 if it should always succeed? You're right that the logic looks like it should succeed every time, but in reality, several things can go wrong. You got this error. Reference bycrypt is not defined. That means your code tried to use bycrypt without importing it. So when node hits this line here, it crashes because bycrypt didn't exist in memory. That triggers express to return a 500 internal. Oh, I see. Okay, that actually makes sense. So I crashed on this line, and express handled that crash and sent back a response as 500. Let me actually go back to here and look at the error. So reference error. So we got the 500 internal server error, and it says reference bycrypt not defined, and then a whole bunch of things there, router index. So it gave the entire like fail thing, like which functions I used, what lines, all of that. Okay. So other common reasons for 500s: database connection issues, missing malformed request body, syntax error. What does leak stack traces to the client mean? When your server crashes, Node generates a stack trace, a detailed log of what went wrong, like what we saw. Okay. It's helpful for you, the developer, but sending it to the client like Swagger or browser is risky because it can expose internal files, code structure, it can reveal sensitive logic. Okay, so it's bad to do that. We should use a try catch, but I'm not going to right now. Do you know why? Because if it fails again, I want to have that stack trace. Okay, so I'm actually not going to do it right now. What I am going to do is copy, or not copy, but exit out of this. And then build it again. Okay. So now, what if I just did execute again? 200, 200, okay. Wait, no, it's not. I don't think it is. Is it? It's, I'm just gonna copy this. Copy that. Refresh this. Okay, well, it's not even connected right now. Because I probably need to go into the that little thing, that encryption, I didn't even want it, but it front end. Then I need to go in here and do what? npm install. And what do I need to install? Is it this bycrypt? I think that's what's gonna happen, right? I think bycrypt is not installed. What is the command? Okay, come on, man. This is like... Okay. It's just bycrypt. Okay, fine. Install bycrypt. Okay. Error. Okay. So it's not found. Oh, because I didn't spell it right. CRYPT. Okay. There we go. And now we go into our package.json and we should see what I don't. Oh, there it is, up there. Okay. So now I come in here and do docker compose up build. Come on. Okay. So now come here. Try it out. And paste that into there. Okay. Execute. 500. Okay, so, and this is exactly why I didn't want to change to the try catch because I just want to copy and paste this whole thing into here. Okay. Let it do its bouncing. Alright, so this means Node.js app tried to connect to Postgres database using the hashtag or the host name Postgres, but couldn't find that name. Essentially, it couldn't find the database. Run Node.js inside of Docker. Okay, well, it is running in Docker, right? Change DB host for local dev. Of Postgres. Oh, do I need to do that weird thing where I come in here and where was it? My Postgres is on my local Mac and my front end is in a Docker container. Okay. Okay, here. So this is what I was looking for. Okay, so I need to go into that thing where I services, Postgres, and host is not going to be equal to this. Host is going to be equal to this. Now, what does host have up here? Database host. Okay, that's different than... No, that's here. Maybe this just means the... like URL or the registry service, meaning Postgres here, but because I'm not actually using this Postgres, I have no idea. Do I need build? I'm not sure. I'm gonna try it like that. Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, obviously. That, there we go. It's fine. And then my test 2. Okay. 500. Address information. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll figure this out later. I'm gonna take a break. I'm getting a little bit tired. Um, so I think what I need to do is figure out it's the Docker networking essentially is what's going on and trying to get these containers to talk to one another. And maybe I need to get actually Postgres like just on my local or on that container. Um, it might work to do it that way as well. So I won't need to do it on my local. But I have my MongoDB on my local, so I don't know. We'll be playing around with it, trying to learn. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to continue with me along this process of creating this project, I would love to have you along for the ride, and we can learn together and continue through this process. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe if you want to. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys very soon with another video.